It is known simply as the shot. Michael Jordan's buzzer beater that eliminated Cleveland from last season's playoffs. Since the shot, the Bulls have soared all the way to the conference finals last year, and they own the second best record in the East this season. Since the shot, the Cavs have been down and out, decimated by injuries and inconsistent play. Cleveland has been below the 500 mark all season. Now healthy again, the Cavs of Coach Lenny Wilkens are making a desperate run at a playoff berth. Doug Collins, this is tonight a Central Division matchup between the Chicago Bulls and the Cleveland Cavaliers. And oh, what a difference a year makes. Last year, it was Cleveland dominating Chicago. This year, it's vice versa, thanks primarily to all those injuries for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cleveland, this year, 17 less wins, and they are battling for a playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. The Cleveland Cavaliers are half a game behind Atlanta. At tonight's game and every game the rest of the way, they have 13 left. Very important. The Chicago Bulls, on the other hand, are in pretty good place. Of course, they are trying to get home court advantage during the playoffs. And Doug Collins, as we look at Indiana, Atlanta, Cleveland at 7, 8, and 9, what do you think about who's going to have an advantage there as we go down the stretch?
Well, I think Atlanta's going to have a difficult time staying in the playoffs in the 8th position right now. Cleveland has a very good schedule. They're starting to play well at home. They have winnable road games. They have 2 against expansion. They're at New Jersey. They're also at New York, a team that is struggling. So I like Cleveland's chances maybe to even go past Indiana. Atlanta on the West Coast now for 3 games. It's going to be very difficult for them to hold on.
Michael Jordan is averaging 33 a game against the league. 44 a game against Cleveland. What's the story?
Well, I think that when you look at Michael Jordan, first of all, his greatness, has been so much talked about. But Cleveland plays him more head up than they do the other ball players. They don't double him as much. They want to limit Pippen and Grant and what those players can do. I think tonight they're going to have to try to get the ball out of Michael's hands. He's averaging 32 shots a game against this Cleveland team. They're going to force some other guys to get into the action.
And Cleveland has a guard that's always been a thorn in the side of Cleveland against Chicago, as you well know from coaching them. That's Mark Price.
Well, I think he makes his team go. I think the one difference when you look at Mark Price, without Ron Harper, they don't get many fast break baskets this year. They get into the half-court game a lot. Mark Price going to play a lot of screen and roll. 3-point shooter, he, Elo, and Kerr. Very important part of their offense. But I think with Mark Price, the Bulls must contain him, keep him out of the middle, don't allow him to get the other players involved.
And Brad Daugherty playing back from his injury. He'll be against Cartwright in the middle. That, too, will be an interesting matchup. In just a moment, we'll be back here for the ball game. But after these commercial messages, we'll join Greg Sager in Atlanta. Along with Doug Collins, Bob Neal with you from Richfield Coliseum. Let's have a look at the starting lineups tonight for the game between Chicago and Cleveland. For the Chicago Bulls, under Phil Jackson, Pippen and Grant up front, Bill Cartwright in the middle, Michael Jordan averaging 44 a game versus the Cavaliers, and John Paxson, who's been in a minor shooting slump, only shooting about 38% the last several games. And for the Cavaliers, finally healing, Winston Bennett will start at forward, but you'll see a lot of Hot Rod Williams. Larry Nance still not 100% from his injury. Brad Daugherty likewise coming back off missing 41 games. Craig Elo and Mark Price are the guards. Elo, the excellent defender, who will be trying to stop Jordan, and Mark Price been averaging 25 points a game of recent. Dick Bavetta, Jim Clark, Nolan Fine are our officials for tonight's ball game. As we're ready to get underway, it's a full house here at Richfield. Of course, they're in town to see their Cavaliers battling for the playoff spot, but of course, they're here to see the guy in the middle of your screen and with the ball, number 23, Michael Jordan.
We have an early matchup here. We see Winston Bennett against Michael Jordan, Elo against Pippen. So I think they're giving him a different look here, saving Elo maybe for later in the game if it's close, so he'll have more energy to defend against Michael Jordan.
And Pippen against Elo right away. Takes it down in the hole against Jordan, who's posted Bennett with the turnaround. And Michael Jordan says, so much for that defense on my first possession. 2-0 Bulls.
You're going to see a lot of half-court offense from this Cleveland Cavalier team, Bob. They're not going to run out much.